Hello. This is kind of like a part 2 from my previous video. In this one, I am showing you how I'm just putting together my book. I've never really made like a book before. I made my La-Di-Da magazine. I think I still have some left on the Puppets website, so you can order them there. But I worked with my best friend who is a graphic designer, so she helped me like assemble everything and helped me lay things out. I'm also planning on running this by her before I send it out, just have her professional graphic design eyeballs on this book to tell me if I've done anything wrong. So things might change. But anyway, this is my foray into making a tiny little art book. This is gonna compile all of the mythological dogs that I did, and I'm making it look kind of like it's a catalog from a dog show. And then in it I have the ghost man, the ghost judge, who is named Waltergeist. I took a vote online and you guys all really liked the name Waltergeist, so that's his name. And he is gonna kind of explain a little bit about what this is. And yeah, so here's just me doing the cover of it. It was inspired by an old Victorian ad that I saw for a bench show, for a dog show. Yep, so that's what I'm doing here. You may have noticed that when I'm drawing on here that the computer is basically filling in the other side. It's because I have my symmetry line on, so whatever I draw on one side will get duplicated onto the other. It's very handy when you're doing stuff like this and you want it to look exactly the same. So instead of just doing half and copying and pasting, you turn on the symmetry feature in Procreate and voila. Easy peasy. Also, yes, I'm aware that dog skulls don't have ears, but I put ears on to make it more apparent that it's a dog skull because shut up. That's yeah, don't ask questions. This is what I did. Now that the cover is done, I am moving on to draw Waltergeist. I just wanted to do like a quick illustration of him being like, check this out, because I wanted a little blurb above him explaining what he does for his job as a monster show dog judge and kind of giving like a small little introduction and just explaining the lore of this weird concept I came up with. Just something fun, I don't know. I also wanted to do a little artist note just explaining kind of my intentions of the book, and that, you know, I was originally doing this as a challenge for October, so I was drawing one of these a day, so I had very limited time to draw them and research, so I might have some things interpreted wrong, and I tried my best to interpret it as best as I could, but also these are kind of just my own interpretations for a made-up concept, so there's definitely artistic liberties taken. So I just wanted to do like a little artist note as it's like just in case, so people knew. So I'm just drawing myself here. That's all. So with most of the art done at this point, I put all of the pieces in Illustrator. I set up multiple artboards and I'm placing them all in here and trying to figure out exactly where I want them all to be, and then I look at reference, see what, you know, Victorian and old-timey dog posters for show dogs and stuff looked like back then, and use that to inspire me. I really like this Australian Terrier one, so that was my main point of reference. I made a border around my pieces of art, downloaded some good Victorian fonts, and yeah, just kind of laid them out and started typing out all of the information that I wanted each thing to have. I also made a little background. I just grabbed some old stock that I had of textures and just messed around until I got something that I felt looked kind of old and rugged. Something super easy, and then I just laid them down on everything. So one of the things I really wanted to do in this book was to make up some fake kennel names and registered names and call names as if they were actual show dogs. So I had a fun time, and I asked some people in the dog groups that I'm in for some help coming up with some registered names. So thank you everybody who contributed. I made up these kennel names, these registered names, and then maybe some titles they might possibly have, as well as making up kind of a fake standard, or how Walter Geist felt like the dog fit in their made-up standard, I guess, for their quote-unquote breed. So I did that, and then I also put down below the myth or folklore or legend or whatever that this dog was based off of. For those who don't know, there's a reason for a kennel name, a registered name, and a call name, as well as all of the titles. The titles show the things that your dog has succeeded at. So, you know, if they're champion in something, then they get a championship title. If they've won in agility for things, then they get agility titles, stuff like that. The kennel name is exactly what it sounds like. It's the name of the kennel or the person who is breeding and owning these dogs. And then the registered name is always the name that's really long and kind of weird, and people look at it and go like, that's weird that your dog is named that. But that's just kind of like the official quote-unquote name on paper that's like completely unique, so that no two dogs have the same name. It's almost like you are trademarking your dog in a weird way. And then the call name, which is down below in the quotes, is the day-to-day name that you call them. Like when he's peeing outside and you want him to come in, you'll call his name. That's the call name. So voila! And for their made-up standards, I kind of just took bits and pieces from various real dogs. And I took things from their standard and put it into this fake standard, as well as adding my own little embellishments, like what the standard would be like if they had wings, or what the standard would be like if they had horns, stuff like that. This illustration also is just like something small and quick that I can put in the back of the book for the glossary. Just kind of showing like, oh, here's a bunch of these dogs that are stacked, and this is maybe like a little glimpse that you would get into this fake dog show. I don't know, I just thought it might be cute. Since a lot of these dog myths and folklores and legends had a lot of limited information on them, I tried my best to illustrate them kind of based off of what I could find, but it seemed like a lot of these stories are almost passed down verbally through families, and, you know, some people from one area might have never heard of this dog, and then other people from another area might have always talked about this dog. So it really kind of was hard to find solid information, and for some of these, I was going off of like 4 sentences. It's like all I could find. So there were some people who were gracious enough in the comments who corrected me on some of these interpretations. So I did go back in and edit some of my designs. And then I also added a glossary in the back where I kind of expand on what the names mean and what the titles all stand for, just so that people could kind of understand what I wrote. After all of that is said and done, I went to FedEx and printed out just one copy just for myself to kind of see how everything fit together. So I assembled it there, just kind of sliced all of the pages with their little paper cutting thing, and then I realized something. It dawned on me here that I don't know how I'm going to attach all of these together because I didn't account for the bind for the book. So I'm sitting here like, how the heck am I gonna... And then I realized I could kind of glue all the pages together, hole punch it, and then bind it with like a string or something, so that's what I ended up doing. I also realized as I was editing this and watching this back, I make a lot of weird faces when I'm concentrating on things. Oh gosh. Okay, please ignore like this entire explosion behind me. There's so much stuff going on over here, so I'm like just like a whirlwind of mess right now. So my office is the first thing that goes. So I put this together. This is my first draft, and this isn't me being like, this is what you're gonna get. This is just for me, just to see like how things kind of fit together. I have a printing company that I'll be using, so it'll be like an actual bound book and everything, but I really wanted to like hold it and see how it kind of looked. So I wanted to see how things kind of flowed and what pages worked with what, and like if I needed to add anything. But I feel like for the most part it's pretty good. I mean, I will say that the way that I bound this, like when I got it printed, I wasn't thinking about like the binding part and like the way that it connects, so I just got them cut to the size that the illustration is essentially, and then as you could probably see in that clip, I was like, oh shit, wait, how am I gonna connect all of this stuff together? So this won't be how it's bound. When I look at this here, I can see that, you know, the text runs into itself on either page, but that's because like I'm literally cutting into like the actual safe area of the art here and binding it. I feel like when I send the work over, because it's all PDF with like bleed and everything, when I send the PDF over to the book company, they should know what to do so that my text and stuff won't get cut off. But like I can kind of see how things are going to be laid out. I also went in, there were some kind people who were gracious enough to let me know that some of my illustrations were slightly incorrect or interpreted things like kind of wrong, but most people understood that because there's such limited information out there, it's kind of hard to interpret. The book is going to have my edits to things that some people pointed out. So yeah, so basically for the most part, like it's all kind of put together. It's cool to see how it might look in a way, you know, does that make sense? So yeah, that's basically how things are looking. And I have a little like about the artist, it's me. And then I also had this like little glossary here that I made. It doesn't have all of the information, but it has some examples. But I think for the most part, it's pretty cute. So by the time that you see this, I will have pre-orders up for the book on my website. There will be a link down below that you can go to, and you can order the book. I'm hoping I can get it by Christmas and sent out before Christmas, but I can't guarantee it. Just an FYI. It really depends on how fast the turnaround is. I kind of slammed this out because I really wanted to make sure I could send it before December and have them look over it and do any changes I need to do, and then hopefully get everything by the beginning of December to get shipped out. I don't know. We'll see. So I can't make any promises that this will be ready by Christmas, but I'm gonna try. So don't get it if you're like, oh, this is 100% gonna be a Christmas present and I need it by Christmas. Or, well, I'm not gonna say don't get it. Just keep an eye out on my social media, and I'm gonna tell you how things are going with it. That's about it. I'm sorry if I'm talking and I sound like a crazy person. I am like my brain is going like 1 billion miles an hour right now because I'm thinking of 50 different things I have to do. So I'm gonna go do some of those 50 things. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was fun to watch. Yeah, go. I don't know. I'm gonna end it. I'm like, ah! All right. Goodbye.